Hey, this is Dan with Coal Cracker. Have you ever brought a ferro rod into the woods and have no way to strike it? If so, I have the fix for you. What's up guys, Dan here, used car salesman, gear connoisseur. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about the ferro rod. Now, when you buy a ferrocerium rod, a lot of times a striker comes with it. I always tell people just keep that striker. Although there's way better options, keep the striker just in case those other options aren't available. So one of the things that we like to tell people often is if you have a knife with a good 90-degree spine, that works really well because especially like right now, it's wet, my hands are all slippery, they're dirty, the rod's all slippery. I can get a good bite on this, I'm holding it, lots of confidence, and then when I strike this, I'm getting globs of molten metal, and that is going to get your fire going almost every time. Some other options with this, of course, is to use something like the back side of the saw on your multi-tool. Them things are just, they're phenomenal for scraping this, or the scraper that came with the rod itself. But what happens if, let's just say you grab a new knife and the knife is not throwing good sparks and you don't have anything else? Well, there's other camp tools that you can use, and we're going to look at 3 of them today. All right, so we're going to start with the most basic, which you might have, and that is your axe, okay? So your axe, okay, lots of different parts on this thing and lots of different things that you might be thinking, but the goal here is to not use the blade. And the reason we don't want to use the blade on our knife or our axe unless it is an absolute dire life and death emergency is because this rod will ruin this blade, and we don't want to do that. This is a very valuable resource. So generally with axes, the best place to try to throw sparks is going to be right up here on the tip, okay? So right where the blade comes up and right where it starts to come across the top. This section right in here generally works best to be able to scrape that, okay? So you're gonna get, with all of these methods, you're not gonna get sparks like that knife. That knife is probably the ultimate, right? But you're still gonna get sparks. So if you have some fire starters along, it's gonna work good. So in our case, we can get this edge, and you could see, if I get it at the right angle, I'm throwing pretty good sparks with that. I'm not using a blade and I'm just using this top edge. So definitely try it with your gear before you head out, but this is one viable option. Okay, option number 2, we talked about the saw on your multi-tool. But what about your buck saw? Yep, that's right. The buck saw blade works really well, and not the teeth side. Don't do that, okay? It's going to be this back side of the blade. So in order to do that, again, we're just going to be careful. Maybe if you have a glove or some kind of schmog, you can use that. I have hands of steel, so I can easily run my hand along this blade and be absolutely fine. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to hold that blade nice and tight and give it a couple little prep strokes. And you could see we're getting that. Now, of course, that's not as good as the axe, not as good as a knife, but still an option with a good fire starter. This will create fire. All right, and then last but not least for today's video, a silly one, but a serious one, and maybe one that you could use on your kids and say, hey, get a fire started with these 2 things and give them one of these little cups. We all own one of these camp cups. Don't pretend that you don't, because you do. I know you do. You might be actually sitting around sipping on one now. So with these camp cups, there's this little slider portion. This one came from REI. But listen, again, like I said, we all have these cups, right? So this little slider portion is actually sharp. So what I can do with this is I can stick my ferro rod inside here, and if I get it at the right angle, you could see I'm throwing sparks. So I would have to mess with this a little bit. Cotton balls and Vaseline with this is probably gonna be best, but I'm getting some sparks off. So a camp cup and this can make a fire that can save your life. All right, and just like that, they are 3 methods that you can use to strike your ferro rod that are outside the box. And I'm sure there's many, many others, but at this point now, what you can do is take your ferro rod, put a bigger piece of rope on it, hang around your neck, because you are a fire god. So Yeah, I hope you like this video. Fun stuff, different things that you could do at camp. The upcoming summer season, although you would never tell it here in Pennsylvania right now, just wet and cold and miserable, right? The sun is coming, I promise. The sun is coming. So we're all going to be out having a good time, family, friends, and yourself out in the woods. So give these ones a shot, a fun, challenging way to make a campfire next time you're out. Party tricks and way to win beer from your friends at camp. So if you like this video, hit like and subscribe. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until the next video, stay dry, stay lit, and stay in the woods.